What's that? Can you hear something?
I can hear something.
There's a weird noise.
Yeah, it's not you, is it?
It's not my stomach, I promise you.
I think that might be.
Are the bees? Do we have the bees? As I mentioned earlier, our next guest on tonight's show really brings a buzz with him.
Quite literally, this guest appeared in East London Line's news a while back with a story called Keeping Bees on the Roof of East London Mosque. As the story suggests, Khalil Attan and his wife Salma Attan tend to over 100,000 honeybees on the roof of the building.
100,000 bees on top of the roof. That's unique. This unique arrangement allows the mosque to give out honey during Eid celebrations, whilst also attracting a variety of people, including school children and different ethnic groups within the mosque.
Tonight, we have one of the beekeepers from the East London Mosque, Khalil Attan. Welcome to Living the Life.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for joining us, brother. This beehive has just arrived. And it's right in front of me.
Don't be scared, it'll be fine.
I mean, I'm worried. I don't want to move. I don't know if they're going to come out.
I'm quite excited by this, and you're quite worried.
How many do we have in there?
Oh, we've got a good couple of thousand. Probably about 3,000 or 4,000, I would say. Maybe more than that.
Are we safe?
We're completely safe. We're completely safe. They can't get out. They can't get out. They'll be fine.
But you attend to 100,000 altogether.
Actually, probably more than that
now.
When you read about it at that time of the year, it was probably about 100,000 then. It's probably doubled by now.
But how does it work? Because when I think of bees and beehives, I think of the countryside and loads of trees and green. On top of East London Mosque.
Yes.
It's amazing, actually. You wouldn't think that there'd be something like a beehive on top of the mosque.
Yeah.
People think that in the city, London, where they're going to get their food from.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you have bees on top of a mosque like that? But alhamdulillah, they've got plenty of forage. London is an area where certain parts of London is actually quite green. You have a lot of trees around, you have a lot of people, with flower boxes, you have a lot of people growing vegetables in their garden. London's actually a very, very good area for bees, and it's good to try to reintroduce them into an area which, you wouldn't think there'd be.
So why did you get involved and become a beekeeper, I guess?
Oh no, it's a bit of a strange story actually. It was my initial, how I came into beekeeping was really through a problem I had. So I had hay fever, quite bad hay fever. And I've always read that, local honey is something which is beneficial for hay fever, the local honey close to you. And at that time, which was about 6 years ago, we found it quite hard to find local honey. There weren't many people out there doing local honey. But I did find it once, and I tasted it, and after tasting it, it's nothing like the shop honey at all. Ooh. And I thought, you know what, let's try it ourselves.
Hopefully we try it, but we've got a few jars here of honey.
I've got a few jars.
I love
we'll try some later.
The thing is, actually, we love our international days. Our viewers know this. We love our international days.
Yeah.
And I believe there's a Bee Honey Day, International Day this Saturday.
This Saturday is Bee Day.
What happens on Bee Day?
I know. It's a bit of a funny name, isn't it? When I heard it, Bee Day. Okay. It's a recognition of beekeeping and the benefits that bees bring to people, bring to the environment. They bring a lot of benefits, and a lot of benefits that people don't even know about. Bees are there doing their work, flying around, pollinating the plants. We don't even know about this. We don't even think about this. It's just to bring a bit of awareness, just to get you thinking, they're here, they're doing work for us, whether we know it or not.
Then I have to ask, you said there's 100,000 bees in there.
About 5,000 in this one.
Oh, it's about 5,000 here, sorry.
Yeah.
100,000 altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, I take it true to, like us brothers, we work really hard during the life. I imagine the majority of them are male bees, aren't they, working away?
You would say that, wouldn't you? But actually...
we work really hard too.
You'll be disappointed because almost all of them are females, and all of the workers are actually female.
That's like real life, I guess.
So the workers are, the hard-working ones are the females. Nothing we can do about that, unfortunately. It's the fact of life. They're the hard-working ones.
I always just assumed that you had the queen bee,
yeah.
and she had this army of minions around her.
Her army is all female.
Brilliant.
The female ones are the ones that do all the work. They're the ones that go out of the hive. They're the ones that fly and pollinate the flowers, and they're the ones that defend the hive as well. So if ever, I've been stung a few times as a beekeeper. It's something that's going to happen. It'll be a female that does that. The males don't even have a sting. They can't defend the hive.
Now, you guys are a bit, sitting a bit back. Do you guys like bumblebees?
Honeybees.
He does.
He didn't want to come out into the studio. But yeah, it's sunnah. Honey is a sunnah of the one the Prophet used to like it. And then it comes, the bees are the source of that. So yeah, it's quite amazing, I think.
Do you often get bees on your football pitch when you're playing and waft them away?
Very rarely in London, but it's interesting. Brother Khalil mentioned about hay fever. I suffer from hay fever, and the same advice was given to me a few years ago, was to go and source local honey. And
Really?
we have a very trendy street in South London called Northcote Road.
Yeah.
And you can buy local honey there. They have a honey shop there, but the pricing is very extortionate. So to grow your own honey and to obviously know that it's pure, it's not been processed, it's quite amazing.
I suppose there probably are a lot of health benefits to honey there as well. Not that none of us are medical experts at the end of the day, but it's,
Yeah, there's plenty of health benefits. Honey is and the hay fever is just one of the things, but it does have a huge amount of potential for health. People have it, naturally when you have a cold or you have a sore throat, the one thing you want to go for is honey. You know that there is some benefit in there, even without knowing about the properties that it has, the antibacterial properties, the antimicrobial properties. It has a lot of vitamins and amino acids in there. It has a lot of things which is beneficial for us.
It's just go-to medicine, isn't it?
Go-to
medicine.
It is.
Indeed. Well, look, thank you for joining us. I just want to come back to bees for a second.
Yep.
And obviously, we've got our bees here. They're right in front of me. I've just been moving further back into my seat while I've been sitting here. But how do we go from this to what we have in front of them, which is the actual honey pots? And there's all these different coloured. I don't know if we can get them on our camera, but we've got, maybe I'll reach across and try and grab one. But we've got all these little honey pots here. That was a very scared move on my part, I have to admit.
You're quite close now.
Close enough. But yeah, how do we go from there to here?
Well, you need, firstly, the bees need to bring in the honey. So that takes them a long time, actually. So throughout the whole year, they'll be working tirelessly throughout the whole day to bring in nectar. So they go to all the flowers, they bring in nectar, very, very small amount of nectar, and then they convert that into honey. So they add an enzyme from inside them, and that converts into honey. And it's amazing, actually, because one bottle, 1 pound bottle, they have to go to roughly 2 million flowers.
Wow.
So you can imagine the amount
is
of work.
That the equivalent of this bottle that we had here?
It's slightly bigger than that. That's probably about a quarter of the size. But if you imagine 4 of those, they'd have to probably go to about 2 million flowers.
2 million flowers, wow.
And it takes if you think about it this way, it takes about 12 bees their whole life to make 1 teaspoon of honey.
Wow.
Gosh.
So it's a huge effort on their part to bring in the honey.
Wow.
We don't appreciate how much of an effort actually goes into making that. But what they do is they'll bring the honey in, they'll put it into a comb, which is specifically for honey. This comb that you see here is actually a rearing.
Is that what we have over here?
We have one here, but this is empty. We've actually taken the honey out of that.
Ah.
But you can see that this is what they will
Bassett
use.
can actually hold that.
I can hold this then. That's not. That's safe.
Don't want to do anything
So you would literally just drain the honey out of this then?
What we do is I've actually got one here which I can show you. This is quite heavy. So this is actually a frame of, I don't know if you can see that from there. That's actually a frame of honey. So all of that is honey. So all we do is we take the wax off the top.
Yeah.
So when the honey is ready, they actually put a small amount of wax on the top, and then you know that it's ready. And that actually preserves the honey, so it can stay intact like this for years. They've actually found some honey
Fascinating.
from the pyramids, which is like thousands of years old, and it's still edible to this day. So once they cap it, it's going to stay.
Preserved.
It's preserved completely.
Naturally preserved as well.
Yeah, naturally preserved. So all we do is we take off the honeycomb from the front, the wax, and then we put it into a machine and we spin it, and then honey flies out.
Wow.
So that's what we do.
How
And
fascinating.
then you can bottle it after that.
How absolutely amazing. That's been a very informational programme today.
I know.
I want to come and have a go
Yeah, of course.
myself. But for